Hey everyone, it's Damon. Have you ever felt like life's just throwing one curveball after another? I've been there, and let me tell you, it's tough to stay positive. But what if I told you there's a secret weapon that can turn things around, even in the darkest times? It is true. I have seen it work wonders in my own life. Now, you might be wondering, how does negativity affect our faith? It's a great question, and the answer might surprise you. Stick around, because what I'm about to share could change everything you thought you knew about faith in tough times. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of negativity? I mean, we've all been there, right? You wake up, stub your toe, spill coffee on your shirt, and suddenly it feels like the whole world is against you. That's exactly what happened to Mark. And let me tell you, his story is going to blow your mind. So picture this. Mark was just your average guy. He had a decent job, a few friends, and he went to church on Sundays. But man, if you spent more than 5 minutes with him, you'd hear nothing but complaints. His boss was a jerk. His co-workers were lazy, and don't even get him started on traffic. Sound familiar? The more Mark complained, the worse things seemed to get. It was like he was caught in this whirlpool of negativity, pulling him down fast. His relationship suffered, his work performance tanked, and his faith was hanging by a thread. Even simple interactions became a struggle. Now you might be thinking, come on, it can't be that bad. It's just a little complaining, right? Wrong. Negative thoughts can actually rewire your brain. Scientists have found that when we focus on negative stuff, our brains create stronger neural pathways for those thoughts. It's like your brain is saying, oh, you want to be negative, let me make that easier for you. When it comes to your faith, negativity is like poison. It seeps into every corner of your spiritual life, making you doubt God's goodness and question His plan for you. Mark felt like God was distant, maybe even against him. Can you relate to that feeling? That sense that God's just not listening, or worse, that He doesn't care. But here's the thing. Mark's story isn't unique. So many of us fall into this trap without even realizing it. We start focusing on all the things going wrong in our lives, and before we know it, we're seeing everything through this dark, gloomy lens. It's like wearing sunglasses at night. You're missing out on all the light and beauty around you. Negativity blinds us to God's blessings. We're so busy complaining about what we don't have that we forget to be thankful for what we do have. It's like we're telling God, hey, all this stuff you've given me, it's not good enough. Ouch, right? But don't worry, because I've got some good news for you. There's a way out of this negativity trap, and it's simpler than you might think. Mark found it, and it completely transformed his life. Are you ready to discover the secret that turned Mark's life around? Trust me, this could be the game changer you've been waiting for. Let's dive in. Alright, are you ready for this? Because what I'm about to share might just blow your mind. Remember how we talked about Mark's negativity spiral? Well, there's a powerful tool that can completely turn that around. And guess what? It's been right there in the Bible all along. The Bible mentions this incredible tool over 150 times. Can you believe that? It's talked about so often, you'd think we'd all be experts at using it by now. But here's the thing. Most of us totally miss it. We're so caught up in our problems that we overlook this amazing gift God's given us. So, what's this powerful tool? It's gratitude. Yep, good old-fashioned thankfulness. I know it sounds simple, right? But trust me, it's a game changer. And it's not just a suggestion. It's a command straight from God Himself. The Bible doesn't just tell us to say thanks when good stuff happens. It says to give thanks in all circumstances. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. All circumstances, even the tough ones, even when life feels like it's falling apart. Look at Paul writing from prison, still practicing gratitude. It's crazy. Now you might be thinking, how can being thankful really make a difference? Well, here's where it gets really interesting. Science is finally catching up to what the Bible's been saying all along. There are studies now that show gratitude can actually change your brain chemistry. How wild is that? God's wisdom is literally rewiring our brains. It's like putting on a pair of gratitude glasses. Suddenly, you start seeing blessings everywhere. That annoying coworker, Maybe they're teaching you patience, that car that broke down. Hey, at least you have a car. But here's the real kicker. Gratitude doesn't just change how you see the world. It changes how you see God. When you start thanking Him for everything, even the small stuff, you start to realize just how much He's doing in your life. It's like you're tuning into God's frequency. And suddenly, you can hear Him so much clearer. And let me tell you, that's exactly what happened to Mark. When he started practicing gratitude, it was like a light bulb went off. He began to see God's hand in everything, even the stuff he used to complain about. His whole perspective shifted, and with it, his entire life. Can you imagine how different your life would be if you started looking for things to be grateful for, no matter what's going on? So, you know how Mark's life did a total 180 when he started being thankful? Well, there's a way to supercharge that gratitude and take it to a whole new level. I'm talking about a simple 30-day challenge that's changing lives left and right. Now, I know what you're thinking. 30 days? That's a long time. But trust me, this is going to blow your mind. Mark decided to give this challenge a shot, and it completely transformed his life. He started writing down 3 things he was grateful for every single day. It's not just saying thanks out loud. Writing it down makes you really think about it and feel it deep down. At first, Mark struggled. He'd sit there, pen in hand, thinking, what do I have to be thankful for? But then, something amazing started to happen. He began noticing all these little things he'd never paid attention to before, like his coworker bringing him coffee, the breathtaking sunset on his drive home, or even being grateful for his job, the same one he used to complain about all the time. As the days went by, it got easier. Mark found himself actively looking for things to be grateful for. It became a habit, like brushing his teeth or checking his phone in the morning. But unlike those habits, this one was changing his whole outlook on life. And you know what's really wild? It wasn't just his perspective on his circumstances that changed. His relationship with God started shifting too. It's like gratitude opened up this direct line to God that had always been there, but Mark had never noticed before. He started seeing God's fingerprints everywhere, in the kindness of strangers, in the strength to get through tough days, in the coincidences that worked out in his favor. But here's the thing, it's not just about feeling good. Gratitude actually changes your brain. Scientists have found that people who regularly practice gratitude have more activity in the part of the brain associated with happiness and positive emotions. It's like you're rewiring your brain for joy. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That's great for Mark, but my life is really tough right now. How am I supposed to be grateful? I get it, I really do. But here's the amazing thing. Gratitude isn't just for the good times. In fact, it's even more powerful when things are hard. So, why not give it a try? You might just be amazed at how it changes your life and brings you closer to God. Alright, let's talk about gratitude when life gets really tough. I mean, it's one thing to be thankful when everything's going great, right? But what about when you're facing some serious challenges? That's when gratitude gets real, and that's when it can change everything. You know, I've been thinking a lot about 2 of the biggest heroes in the Bible, Jesus and Paul. These guys faced some seriously hard times. Jesus, knowing he was about to face the cross, gave thanks at the Last Supper. And Paul? He started singing hymns of praise while stuck in prison. Can you imagine that? Now you might be thinking, that's Jesus and Paul. How does that apply to me? Well, here's the thing. Their examples show us something incredibly powerful. Gratitude isn't just for when life is good. It's a choice we can make anytime, even when things are falling apart around us. But let's be real for a second. Choosing gratitude when life is hard, it's not easy. It goes against everything we naturally want to do. When we're hurting or scared or angry, being thankful is probably the last thing on our minds. But that's exactly why it's so powerful. You see, when we choose gratitude in tough times, we're not pretending everything is fine. We're not ignoring our problems or putting on a fake smile. No, we're doing something much deeper. We're choosing to trust God even when we can't see how things are going to work out. And you know what? That kind of gratitude can change everything. It shifts our focus from our problems to God's presence. It reminds us that no matter how big our challenges are, God is bigger. It's like putting on a pair of spiritual glasses that help us see beyond our current circumstances to the bigger picture of what God is doing. But here's the really cool part. Gratitude in tough times doesn't just change our perspective, it changes us. It builds our faith muscles. The more we practice gratitude when it's hard, the stronger our faith becomes. It's like training ourselves to always look for the silver lining, to always see God's hand at work, no matter what's going on around us. And let me tell you, that kind of perspective is life-changing. It's what allows people like Paul to sing in prison. It's what enabled Jesus to face the cross with love and forgiveness. And it's what can help us navigate our own tough times with hope and strength. So why not give it a try? You might just be amazed at how it transforms your life. Right? Folks, we've seen how gratitude can transform lives, like it did for Mark. Now it's your turn. Here's a simple challenge. Write down 3 things you're grateful for daily. It might feel awkward at first, but stick with it. You'll start seeing blessings everywhere. Remember, every thank you is an act of faith. You're telling God, I see what you're doing, and I'm grateful. Imagine how different your life could be in a month if you start today. Curious about taking your faith journey further? Don't miss our next video. What happens when you let go and let God take control? It's a game changer. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Let's start this journey together. Stay blessed by the best.